Welcome back to Is It Any Good? I'm Cliff Chance, and with this video, I'm going to give you my top 10 movies of 2018. Before going to put this disclaimer out there, I hadn't had a chance to see every movie yet. I still have not seen A Star Is Born, so for those of you that think, why isn't this on the list? It's because I haven't seen it yet. And maybe some of them just didn't feel. I didn't leave the theater or have the same feelings after I got done seeing the movie that I did with the movies that are on my list. I was going to do honorable mentions, but I think I'm just going to get right down into the top 10. Coming in at number 10 for my list is Black Klansman. I thought this told a very excellent story. It was a Spike Lee's return to form. Who knew that it would be directing Denzel's Washington's son, John David Washington, which brings up the question: how come he's been hidden on that show Ballers all this time and hasn't had really a chance to shine as he did with this movie? I look forward to seeing more from him in the future, as well as Adam Driver. Even Topher Grace did a good job in his role in this movie. Number 9 might shock some of you that it's this far down the list and not higher up, is Avengers Infinity War. I thought this was an excellent theater movie. Even when I bought it on Blu-ray, I've watched it quite a few times. They just did a great job of bringing most of the Marvel characters that they have had in 20-something films together, each giving them their own time to shine, no matter how small a role they each played. I think it was just an excellent way of having all these main characters have limited portrayals, but still being able to tell a semi-decent story. And the action scenes were just spectacular in this movie. I look forward to Avengers Endgame coming out this summer. Number 8 on my list is Searching. Now this made one of my top 10 surprise list. It was just a phenomenal story. It kept you you were interested in the characters, and from the moment he signed on to the first computer, you started getting a story of this family, and then when the daughter goes missing, you become worried for her and how the dad reacts, and just the way they told the story through the computer screen or through FaceTime calls or phone calls or search histories was just a really smart way of telling a story that I didn't think was going to work, and it did. Number 7 on my list is Incredibles 2. I had a hard time going between this and another movie further down on which one I enjoyed more. But this movie it was definitely worth the 14-year wait for this sequel. The animation in it was spectacular. The action scenes were great. It had a really good story. And Holly Hunter and Craig T. David did a great job at reprising their roles as Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. And I like that the story focused a lot more on Mrs. Incredible this go around. It was just a really well done sequel, and after a few hit or misses, the past 2 Pixar movies have been really great, and I'm excited to see where they go from there. Number 6 on my list was my very first review for this channel, Bohemian Rhapsody. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than from some people I've seen did. I thought Rami Malek was perfect as Freddie Mercury. All the cast members did great as the different band members, and then wrapping it up with the perfect reenactment of the Live Aid concert was just phenomenal. I'm excited to see, hopefully, Rami Malek. Out of the performances I've seen so far, I still am rooting for Rami Malek to win the Oscar for this role. He did a great job. Number 5 is the movie I went back and forth with for Incredibles 2. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I did enjoy this one a little bit more than I enjoyed Incredibles 2. I thought the animation for this one was just phenomenal. It was like watching a comic book come to life. All the different Spider-Men that they had in this, they all played their parts well, including Miles Morales, which I think this movie was made to get more people aware of Miles Morales. I'm still a Peter Parker fan, but I want to learn more about Miles Morales in this. And then one thing I want to talk about for this one is the final little fight. The way they did this fight was tremendous. They had stuff flying all over the screen, but you were able to focus on the characters that you wanted to focus on during this final fight. That's something I think Venom kind of struggled with its final fight, because they had stuff flying all over the screen. He didn't know what to focus on. But they did a great job with Into the Spider-Verse, and the way they shot that, or animated the final fight scene, and that everything about this movie was just a great animated movie. It was perfect for kids and adults. I feel like I didn't have a chance to see it in 3D, and I kind of want to, but I don't know if I will have a shot at doing that. Number 4 on my list is Won't You Be My Neighbor. This was just a great documentary about a great man from a town that I hold near and dear to my heart, Pittsburgh. It's about Fred Rogers and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it was just perfect. I feel sorry for Tom Hanks trying to have to do a biopic on the man after this documentary came out. It does a great job just delivering his message and continuing on with it. It's a documentary that everybody should watch at some point in their lives. If you're just having a bad day, it's uplifting, and it'll bring you out of a funk if you need to. Number 3 on my list, a horror movie, which I think I've said in other videos I'm not a big horror movie fan, but A Quiet Place. This movie was great. It kept you. What I liked about it, most horror movies, they use music to kind of drive up the tension. Well, in this one of the characters is deaf, and so part of the movie is silent. So they don't have to use that music to build up the tension, or you're just scared. You're like, something's about to happen even though there's really nothing. Certain scenes that they show early in the movie, you see something that's like, oh, this is going to come back later. And even in the first 10 minutes of the movie, something happens that you're just like, what? It was just a very well done horror movie. I look forward to seeing John Krasinski, what he can do behind the directing chair, because he did phenomenal with this one as well as acting. It's a really good, well done movie. I didn't get to see it until later in the year, but I'm glad I did before I did this list. Number 2 on my list is Mission Impossible Fallout. This was just the perfect summer action movie for me. I enjoyed everything about it. The twist in it you did kind of see coming pretty early, but that didn't hurt the movie at all in my opinion. The action shots were great. The story itself is actually told a pretty good story. It's one of my favorite Mission Impossible stories. I'm a fan of most of those movies, but this one was probably one of the better ones. And for it to be number 6 in a series and still to be able to probably be the best one in the series, that's saying something. Tom Cruise does an excellent job with this character. Last summer when he did The Mummy, I kind of felt he's starting to call it in, but when you give him a character that he can get behind and that he enjoys playing, he does a great job with it. And then number 1 on my list. This is a movie that once I went and left the theater, I knew right then and there it was going to be number 1. Nothing was going to take it from that spot. And I left that theater feeling just real happy about the movie I saw and the experience I had in the theater. And that is Green Book. This movie didn't make a lot of people's top 10 lists, but I left this movie feeling great. The chemistry between Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali was just phenomenal. The way they can go from being in a comedy scene together to being in a dramatic scene together was just great. I still want Rami Malek to win the Oscar, but I want both of these guys to somehow get nominated. One's supporting and one's best. I don't know, but both of them deserve an Oscar for this. Even the director, who is one of the Farrelly brothers, directed it. He's stepping out of his element into doing a movie like that. He shines in this too. Whenever this movie comes out on Blu-ray, you should rent it, buy it, whatever. Just watch this movie. It delivers a great story, great message behind it, and it was my favorite movie of the year. Let me know what some of your top 10 movies of the year were, and like and subscribe to the channel. The channel is Cliff Chance, and the show is Is It Any Good? Thank you.